Well, it's Christmas morning for Dad. He's sitting out watching the road, waiting for his latest big purchase to come rolling down it. Let's go see what it is. How do I start it again?
I was just gonna say, there's a green button up here. This is basically your sealed switch module. Green button, push it once, is key on.
Okay.
Push and hold a second time, engine starts. This will take your park brake off. So it's 2 greens, 1 red, off and running.
Okay.
So,
can you set a pin up to? You
can set. That's what all these numbers are on this punchpad for. You can put up. They call it an anti-theft code.
Yep.
So you can go in here and put a 3, 4, or 5-digit code in before it allows you to start it.
Okay.
And so, otherwise, there's always a lock on the door too. Oh, if you want to secure it.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I was wondering, where's the key or
the key should be in behind the seat.
Okay.
With the operator's manual.
Okay.
So.
All right. Oh, it's even got a backup camera.
And it's on all the time.
It's on all the time too? That's nice.
The only thing that display does is your backup camera.
Okay, that's nice.
I really like that because I got arthritis and too much force. I get to my camera.
Yep, and if you look up, you have your rearview mirror too.
Plus with kids, it's really nice to have.
You know, I say that all the time. Kids, dogs, you know, not turning around. It's on all the time. Even going forward, it's still nice to know what's going on behind.
Exactly.
I'm gonna take it for a spin. Oh, that's fancy. What did I do? What did I do? Where is it? Unlock. There we go. What's that?
Number 3 up there, we'll switch it to ISO.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. That's better. That's much better. Oh, that's nice. That's real nifty. That's cool. No looking back required, but it's still optional. All right, first things first, speed test. We gotta take this baby down the road and see how fast she is. So this is Dad's new toy. He just bought this 330G from Sloan's in Montfort, and it's really a beast. The lifting capacity on this unit is 3,000 pounds, and he bought more weights for the back, which increased the lifting capacity up to 3,600, which is pretty close to the JCB. Now, I'm still really partial to the JCB itself. I tried convincing Dad to buy one, but this was more in his price range, even though he did get it pretty much as decked out as you can, at least I think. But to me, this is like, this has all like the cool features. So this is going to be our 3rd skid loader. We have the 773. We were talking about either trading that in or selling it outright. I put feelers out online to see if people were interested in the Bobcat for $13,000, and I got so many messages on it. I'm like, okay, I just need to delete this listing. Because then Dad was like, well, we should just keep it. I'm like, yeah, for $13,000, even to me, for what the Bobcat's worth, we haven't abused it over the last 20 years. For us, it'll be worth keeping it on the farm. That way we'll have a skid loader on the main farm. We've got the JCB out of my place, and then we'll have this here and the Bobcat down at Travis's. So I'm still trying to figure out what all these things mean. We switched it over to ISO instead of H pattern, and I want to keep it there. I don't want Travis and Dad to get used to H pattern. ISO is just, to me, it's nice. Should have asked him if there's a way to like, there it is. So it's the same on the JCB, this bottom toggle switch down here, that's our rabbit mode. Oh, we got a flip throttle down here. What I do like is that it's got this notch for resting your foot on. The one thing that I noticed the first second that I got in this cab though is that it is actually really cramped compared to the JCBs. The JCB has a nice big open cab. I do like that they have this little cubby down here, thinking of the YouTubers so that they can put their cameras down there, or you know, everybody else who puts their tools there too. So I don't know, seems pretty nice. I'll do the right thing and put on my seatbelt because we're going high speed. You want to see some real speed? I'll show you some real speed. There we go. All right, let's go! Holy cow. I don't even have it gunned right now. Once I get down to the bottom down here. Oh man. Yeah, this thing moves pretty quick. Holy cow. It definitely goes faster than the JCB. The JCB has tracks, so it's obviously going to go a little bit slower. Hannah's got a 2012 260 Eco, and when that one's in rabbit mode, it probably moves just about as quick as this one does. So Dad went with the wheeled version instead of a tracked version. After using the tracks on the JCB, I have been going back and forth on what I prefer, whether I would prefer wheels or tracks, and I think I do like the tracks a little bit better than I would wheels, just because I've done so much with the JCB and I've gone so many places where even with the wheels I wouldn't dare take this thing, that I think I just still do prefer the tracks, because I wouldn't trust taking this machine where I've gone with the JCB, just for the pure fact of I probably would get a flat tire. So she's got a radio. I like the front. They've definitely made strides compared to the Bobcat to get in and out of. The glass door goes a lot lower, so you don't have to climb quite up so much. Cab itself, I feel like I'm sitting up pretty high, which is a good thing. And I do really like that backup camera. Let's take this back to the shed. I asked him if he could give us a walk around on it quick and show us the basics of the unit for our reference, and also just so you guys can see around the unit as well, because just having this thing dropped off and, you know, being like, adios. If we have him walk around it with us, not only can I share it with you guys, but it also provides future reference for us, because there have been a few times where in the JCB's video, I've gone back and referenced stuff. This would be a pretty good phone holder. I hate it, take it back. No.
I like that you can take that tub and stuff out, roll the cab back,
Yeah.
and right there and open.
Everything. Like I said, you get those arms up, lock them, which you can do inside the cab. And then it's 2 nuts on the corners of the cab. The cab rolls back, and then there's 6 bolts in that tub. And so 5 minutes, you can have this whole machine opened up.
We changed the alternator on the Bobcat a year ago, and Travis was literally standing on his head down in there just to change that alternator. There's no easy way to get to it.
Yeah. First off, pressure-free couplers. So what they do is you push them in, and it relieves all the hydraulic pressure in that circuit.
Okay.
So it's easy to unplug attachments along with plugging the attachments in.
See, like something like that is probably a good thing you just mentioned it, because I would have never known.
Yeah. So like this is your pressure-free return to sump. And what happens when you push these in, there's a manifold in there and it just dumps the oil back into here and then releases all the pressure inside of here. So unplugging attachments is a breeze.
Nice.
And you know, with attachments, you should always hook the hoses back together, because as it sits in the sunlight, heat expands the oil. And if they're hooked together, it stays more neutral, which also helps hook and unhook the attachments.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
So, yeah. It's, you know, multi-purpose. It keeps the couplers cleaner because they're within each other, so that way you don't have that moisture buildup, rust, blah, blah, blah. And then it neutralizes that pressure inside those circuits. Yeah, so like a grapple, right. I've seen it a number of times. You pull up to one and one arm starts creeping up. It's because the oil's getting hot and it's pushing that oil. Okay. Well, it'll neutralize itself when they're hooked together. Every pivot point on the machine will have a grease zerk. So every pivot does have a greasable link or whatever you want to say. It's no different. Chain case oil check plug. It's the same as basically everything. We do have the light package on here, so you get 2 extra lights out the side with the LEDs.
Oh, so that's really nice.
So that, picking up bales in dark, you're gonna like, because a lot of times, what do? Try to find bales off to the side. You sit here and you spin circles, you know, looking for them. Yep. Well, this way, you'll have that fan out. So, and then the back end here, we do have the removable side panels. So both sides will remove. And like you said, you can have quick access to your battery. So a lot of times batteries are where you can't replace them with the booms down. Well, how often does your battery die with the booms in the air? Right. So this is pretty easy to get to, booms up or down. We got a tri-cool cooling package in here. So it'll actually sit in a horseshoe. It's in a U. What that does is it minimizes that stacked cooling. So there's more ambient air temperature going through your cooler, more efficient cooling. So, then you got your main checks. Your hydraulic level is the sight tube down here on the side between the arrows.
Where's that?
Right there. You got the 2 arrows.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, way up there.
Yep. The arms do have to be down to check that.
Okay.
And then to fill it is right here for your hydraulics. Fill the engine right here. They even give you a sticker of what oils to put in there. And then engine oil dipstick, coolant, air filters, fuel. Here's your little periodic maintenance check sheet. So if you ever question what I should do every so many hours, and they give you capacities on the bottom. So
is that the DEF pumping back?
Yes, yep.
Where's the DEF fill?
So DEF fill is under this cover here. Is right here. So, and that is also lockable, you know, if you have it stored somewhere.
Where do the counterweights hang?
So counterweights are gonna get bolted onto the side. There's 3 bolts right here. So you'll bolt them onto here and then stack them from there. So you can hang up to 3 per side. So, and it's basically pound for pound. So put 300 pounds on the back, it's an extra 300 pounds of lift.
Okay.
Any questions so far? No? Going good?
They eliminated the air intake, huh?
You can get a pre-cleaner for these if you want, and then you'll have that big canister up there. I would always say, you know, try it out. We can put them on anytime. So, here's your block heater cord. Okay. They stick it up here off to the side because the door handle's on this side. So you should be able to see a cord draped over the side as you get in. So no more cords in the back to where potentially could forget them.
Okay.
Low boom design. So instead of coming down at a hard angle, they dropped it a lot lower and it comes up more square. What that does is it allows you to have, you know, a visual of your tire edge right away. Electronic actuator hooks and unhooks your bucket. And there's little slots right here. You can watch the progress of your lock pawls on both sides. And then you got a hydraulic hose here with the electrical wires running on the inside of it. So it just gives it strength.
Not to harp on it at all, but that feels kind of exposed to me.
So you would think so, but a lot of times you're always pushing stuff. So, and they used to go down and bring it in from the bottom.
Oh, really?
And we used to catch some things there, so they actually redesigned it and shoved it in up here higher, so it gets that off the ground a little bit more.
Okay.
So the biggest thing I want to say with the door is that the wiper motor's off to the side, not down here. So you can see these latches go a lot easier. Well, this is your sealed switch module. This is kind of the brains of everything inside the cab. So the green key or green button is like your key switch. Push it once, key on, push and hold a second time. We'll start the engine. Stop will shut the engine off and lock the park brake. This unlocks just the hydraulics.
Okay.
If you don't want to move anywhere but have the boom up and down.
Okay.
P is for your park brake, so this will take your park brake and your hydraulics off. Right. So it's 2 greens, 1 red, off and running. So this number 1 is your joystick sensitivity. So you can adjust this on the fly. There's 3 settings on here. If there's 1 orange light lit up, they call it precision. So it's kind of like a slight hesitation to your movements. So it's where you want to do that fine work when you're up against foundations or something like that. And number 3, they call it production. So that's like a go, go, go. You're out in the middle of the field doing, you know, catching round bales. You want to have it in number 3. So number 1 will do all of your propulsion, so all of your movements. And number 4 will do your boom and bucket. So you can adjust these separately or on the fly anytime you want. They don't have to be the same. You don't have to stop, reset anything. Just reach up here, push the button, and keep going.
Okay.
So number 2 has to deal with your throttle. So there's 2 throttles on here. You got your hand throttle here, which is a potentiometer, and then you have your foot throttle down here. So what number 2 does is it changes your foot throttle from an XL to a DXL switch. So you can kind of run it like a bulldozer, or what I use it for is when I'm stacking hay in the barn, I'll come flying in and I'll use my foot throttle to idle down. I'll set my bales off, and then I'll back up, let your pedal up.
If you're running it more with the engine at full speed, it gives you, okay.
Yep, you can DXL it, kind of like what tractors used to have to turn around. Hit that DXL switch, turn around at the end rows, and let her fly again. So you can adjust that, push the button also. Number 3 is where you can change how the machine functions. You can run ISO or H pattern. F stands for foot controls, but we don't have foot controls, so that won't turn on. Won't turn on, yeah. Number 5 is ride control. So what ride control does is it suspends your boom. So if you're carrying a hay bale across the field and you turn ride control on, instead of getting that teeter-tot motion when you hit a bump, that whole round bale and boom will just suspend. Yep. And that takes that, it smooths out your ride, and in theory it minimizes loss out of a bucket. So if you're hauling like gravel or dirt and you hit those bumps and you start spilling stuff out the edge, well, what that does is it suspends it for you. Okay. A quick easy test to see if it's working is raise the boom all the way up in the air and lower it as fast as you can until you're straight out, and then just stop. You'll feel the whole machine dip like that. Okay. Well, with ride control on, you do that same thing. Well, that bucket will actually dip and then come back to where you stopped. So, and then number 6 is self-level. So self-level, what that does, as you raise your boom up, it automatically self-levels the bucket. You cannot run both these functions at the same time. It's in the same valve, so we just can't hydraulically plummet the same at the same time. So there's 2 orange lights on both of these. So if you reach up here and you push the button, 1 orange light lights up. Then you got to use this trigger on the joystick to activate and deactivate it. Okay. Or if both of these on, it'll just flip between the 2. Okay. So the reason they do that is because with ride control, say you are moving a gravel pile. When you go to ram into that gravel pile to get your bucket, you don't want ride control on because it's going to want to kind of move on its own. You won't get that straight in dig force. Okay. So this way with the trigger, you don't have to keep leaving your hand. You can just sit here, click it on, click it off, click it on, click it off. So, okay. That's basically your sealed switch module. Up here to your rockers, like this switch here locks and unlocks your bucket. Push and hold it until you hear a ratchet sound, and that's fully stroked, locked or unlocked. The next one's your lights. This is your 4th function auxiliary for your attachments. Okay. And then HVAC controls. You do have a cheat sheet here. So if I went too fast, just match up the symbols and it'll kind of tell you what each button does. Okay. This red lever back here is your boom lock. So when the boom's all the way up in the air, you just twist this 90 degrees and it shoots a pin out the side. that prevents the booms from coming down. You got your windshield washer fluid reservoirs back here. You got your cab air filters behind here. And then these windows are removable. You just gotta rotate this and then they'll pop up and out. They also lock, so like on the older ones, every time you hit a bump, they'd slide forward a little bit. You can actually lock them open now. And you can open them from the back side.
Oh, really?
Yep. So all kinds of possibilities with the windows now. Over here you got your radio, and then you got your main display up here and your menu. So this will be your def fuel level, or
Def level. Yep.
def level, fuel level, engine coolant temp. And then this display here is for your backup camera, which is on all the time.
What do the buttons on top of it do?
So basically nothing. If you hit the check marks, it takes the box away.
Okay.
And you can brighten and lower the contrast of it.
Okay.
And then down to your joysticks. So you got your right joystick here, this little thumb wheel. This is what controls your hydraulic flow out here at the boom for your attachments. So power up, power out. And then these two, so this is function 1. Function 2 would be these 2 buttons. Function 3 would be the 2 inner buttons on this side. Like I said, function 4 was up here. Now if you have a rotary cutter and you want to run this on continuous, you hold your thumb wheel up and you hit this lower button here, let go of both, and that locks it on to continuous. So you don't have to sit there and hold it the whole time.
Okay.
And then this one up here is your horn. The trigger on this side, like I said, will activate and deactivate your ride control or your self level. The trigger on this side will do your 2-speed. So 2-speed up, 2-speed back. This little toggle here is, they call it creep mode. What that does is you can adjust your top speed. So it's a speed limiter basically.
Okay.
So if you're running a rotary cutter going through grass and you only want to say go a mile an hour, you can dial this back, hold your joystick full forward, and that's as fast as you're gonna go.
Okay.
So down underneath this little box here, what this does is if the engine were to ever stall and the boom was halfway up, there's a red knob under here, and it's basically a pressure relief.
Oh.
You pull that up and the boom should settle to the ground, and then you can exit the machine.
Okay.
You can have the door open and drive it, but you can't unlock the booms with the door open.
That's good.
Because, yeah, otherwise...
I did that with my Bobcat about a month ago. I raised it up a little bit and the door went.
Yep.
Luckily it didn't break.
So, and there's a safety feature to where it won't allow you to do that.
Good.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay. LEDs are definitely an upgrade from halogens, that's for sure.
Yeah, like I said, when you're out in the middle of the field looking for round bales, you're gonna see them a lot better.
Sloan's came and put the counterweights on the back of the 330G. Now, the counterweights are supposed to be a 1-for-1 ratio. So, supposedly each one of these weights is 170 pounds. And that means that it would increase the lifting capacity on the front end by 1,000 pounds, which gets us up right around 4,000. Whether or not it'll be able to lift that without tipping is another thing. I'm sure the loader itself will be able to pick it up, but with the wheels on it, we might be looking at a little bit less than that because wheeled machines typically will tip a little bit easier than tracked machines. I know that the JCB can lift more than 3,600 pounds. However, it does reach a limit where it can't lift. Even that one will start to get tippy with the tracks if I'm facing downhill, if it's a really, really heavy load. But anyway, we're going to be using this in place of the Bobcat, so you won't be seeing it any more than we see the Bobcat, which is still pretty frequently because loaders, skid loaders are our most used pieces of equipment on the farm, hands down. So we'll be keeping this one here, so Dad'll be using it for stuff around the main farm. Travis is taking the Bobcat down to his place to feed cows and stuff down there during the winter months and for whatever else he needs to use it for. We're going to be using this in one of our upcoming videos to haul the hay down at the valley, which makes that a little bit easier. Since last year we just used the Bobcat, now taking both of Dad's loaders down there will make that a lot faster.
JCB typically just stays out in my place because I do use it very, very frequently, working out in pasture and whatnot. So I'm not too crazy about loading that one up and taking it places very often because that one's home is out of my place. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. All how farms work. And with that, I'll see you next time.